large group breaking through the fence surrounding the statue of former President Andrew Jackson.
Would you shut up, man?
And Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Anytime somebody questions the status quo, the celebrity elite power structure, all its fist-fucking, blood-drinking, circle-jerking goons, you're called a nutcase, a tinfoil hat, conspiracy theorist, all of that shit you're laughed at. It's a typical tactic of the ruling elite in order to silence the voice of those who question the tactics of those people that have been keeping themselves in power for thousands of years. If you think that there's been any change in the guard, you're wrong. This shit goes all the way back to the days of the Persians. Then it transfers over to the Greeks, then to the Romans, and it goes on and on. It's the same people. All across the world, they all work together. They're all laughing their balls off at all the rest of us. The spectators in the Colosseum that are just waiting for a little bit of circus and bread. They entertain us with all their celebrity weirdos and all the shit out of Hollywood. And anytime you question this, you're considered to be a nutcase. All the trolls and everybody else like that will come at you in force. They will be on you. They will be stuck to you like a Band-Aid. So in this 100 days of Corn Pop's administration, what have we seen? I haven't really seen anything special. I've seen a president that's completely fucking incoherent, doesn't know what the hell's going on. He ain't running nothing. He's the mouthpiece. And now there's even some speculation that his health may be in concern, huh? Go figure. Who would have ever thought that Corn Pop would get to the point to where he's unable to continue his duties as president? Isn't that what I said? Didn't I say within 6 months he'll be out of there? Are they not already prepping Camel Joe Kamala to take the reins? I mean, shit, man. They're shielding her from all the tough questions the media could be asking her. I mean, in the last administration, it was much different. Anytime anybody in the Trump administration would avoid the media, they would say that he's avoiding the media. Not so for Camel Joe, Kamala, and Corn Pop. They could do it all day long. So let's take a look at everything that's been going on and let's compare it to what is now happening in recent news with this pipeline and all the rest of the shit that's going on. The wars that are raging in the Middle East and the U.S. and their plans of pulling support away from Israel, of which that's what the progressive and the left has been doing for a long time. Why pull support away from the only solid ally you have in the region? You would have to ask yourself that question because almost every single one of those other countries that are in the region has supported some kind of terrorist attack against the U.S. How many of them had their hands involved in 9/11? You have to ask yourself that question. A lot of other things going on. Israel is the only ally that's in the region that makes sense. I mean, it just makes sense to support them because it was the U.S. and Britain and other people that helped reestablish the state of Israel to begin with. So in this 100 days, has there been criminal justice reform? Nope. Has there been any kind of growth in the economy? Not really. I mean, it's just chugging along. What about the border crisis? What about the kids in cages and all those things like that we used to hear about for the last 4 years? Well, guess what, people? Those kids are still in cages down there, but only this time, they're not being separated from the madhouse that they're locked in. They're locked in there with them. People are dying down there. People are getting sick. It's just a humanitarian crisis. At least before, when they were taking the kids out, they were putting them in places where it was much cleaner. And the administration, the last administration, was condemned for that action. Now the kids are being left in there, and there's all kinds of shit going on. Have you seen it? They're all packed together and they're like sardines. I mean, I think it was Ted Cruz that actually went down there and tried to actually show some footage of what's going on in there, and they had that bitch that was in there with her face all in the way. Like, you know, nothing to see here. Give these people some respect. Well, why don't you give those people some respect, lady? And do something about it. Instead of packing them all in there like fucking sardines. And somebody like me that's actually been in prison before knows exactly what that feels like in LA County Jail when you're nuts to butts. That's only part of what's going on. Think of this Colonial Pipeline catastrophe that happened. Motherfuckers were filling up trash bags of gasoline down there. All kinds of shit was going on. It was chaos. It was like the toilet paper shortage, only this was a real shortage. So who really hacked the pipeline? That's my question. According to Corn Pop and all the rest of the fist fucking weirdos in Washington, it's the dark side. A Russian criminal organization that's ran by Cobra Commander, Snake Eyes, Destro, and all the rest of them. Even Skeletor's got his hand in it, right? It's always the Russians. Why can't it be the Chinese? Why can't it be the Iranians? But no, we blame the Russians. That's the go-to guy because they actually want to confront Russia and create basically a World War III with them. Why? Not only does it reduce the population, but it's going to keep everybody in control. Another thing to consider about this Colonial Pipeline hacking that occurred. It's speculated that Colonial had actually paid the $5 million ransom. Whether that's true or not, who really knows? The only people that really know is the government and Colonial themselves. The rest of us can only guess. But they would know where the money went. And they're calling it this dark side. Of course, nobody's ever heard of it, and it's so easy just to say the dark side, right? But it was Tucker Carlson that actually came out and said that this may be something to do with the Green New Deal. Possibly. Why not, right? To show you how fragile gasoline and oil is, why not create a Pearl Harbor, a 9/11 out of this whole thing? And that's exactly what's really going on. Just like what happened, the storming of the Capitol. Remember that? They made that out to look like it was a nuclear strike on Washington, D.C. When a bunch of people just walked up in there, not a shot was fired except for one shot. One shot was fired, right? One of the people that actually walked up in the building was shot point blank. Some woman. And I don't see anybody out in the streets. I don't see right-wing agitators out in the streets burning and looting and destroying everything in their path. Why? Who knows why? It's one of the main reasons why, just like, when it comes to the right or when it comes to the left, they just always give me reasons to not sit right. Shit that they do just don't sit right with me. You know? So they stormed the Capitol, and now that's been played up to be something like a Pearl Harbor. It's an excuse to silence anybody who is of a conservative mindset, right-winger, or a libertarian like myself, who questions everything, by the way. It silences us. It shuts us down. It makes us an enemy of the state to question these things. If you don't think that all of this is planned out, if you don't think that all of this is a coordinated effort in order to create a level of control, you're wrong. Just look at all the cabinet picks that are going on right now. A lot of anti-gunners, defund the police types, all of that shit. Open borders, socialistic ideals, and all the rest. Anything and everything that will restrict you of all your rights. Look what they're also doing with stocks. They're going to raise the capital gains. They're going to raise the taxes on that shit to where you're going to be getting hit with something like 48% if you invest. But this pipeline thing, there's something more to it than what they're telling us. If it has something to do with the Green New Deal, I don't know if I'm ready to sign on with Tucker Carlson when it comes to that. But what I can tell you is this. I'm pretty sure it's not a Russian criminal organization. There's something way more to this that's going on than meets the eye, folks. But we're going to be asking the questions right here on this channel from here on out. I'm going to be investigating all these things, and I'm going to connect the dots for you. because that's what I do. It's not that I take a side, although a lot of people like to think that I'm a right-winger, of which I'm not. It's like I said, there's a lot of things on the right that just don't sit right with me. No pun intended. But yeah. And there's many things on the left that don't sit right with me at all. I like to stay firmly planted in the pragmatic, objective, intelligent, logically grounded middle of it all to make sense of it for all of you. Somebody that doesn't have a leaning in any way, somebody that actually can give it to you from a point of view and a perspective somewhere that is logically grounded in the middle. Because I'm not going to pull no punches for any of them. I'm not going to advocate for any of them. I'm not going to campaign for none of them. I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care if it's Cruz. I don't care if it's Corn Pop, any of them. Right? You're the government. You're the government. The government is the enemy of the people. The government has always been the enemy of the people. It's all about control, cause and effect to create control. And to keep the masses entertained with circus and bread, always. That's what it's always been about. That's what it's always going to be about. So this is my return to Media Raw. The things that we're going to be talking about coming down the road. However long this channel stays up, I don't know. Go ahead and give it a subscribe, like, give a thumbs up. All of that stuff. Because your support for this channel is what can make this information in the middle, the logical pursuit of truth from the middle, to continue to grow and reach more and more people's ears, because you need to hear this. More in the next one.